Hello, this is Cynthia Douthit with the Jewish Christian Studies Center, and today is May 17th, 2021. I want to give you an update on Israel, and this comes from a Zoom call that I was on yesterday, May 16th, 2021. Yesterday, I had the privilege to be on a Zoom call with a major that was on the ground in Israel at an Iron Dome installation. Now, behind me, you can see this Iron Dome battery, and we know that the Iron Dome is radar guided. It is designed to intercept and destroy incoming missiles and rockets. We know that there's over 10,000 reservists on duty, and one thing we can tell you about the Iron Dome is that it has saved thousands of lives. The Iron Dome has intercepted, and as you can hear in the background, this is the red alerts coming in. Rockets are being fired from Gaza as I'm recording this, nothing new. But the Iron Dome has intercepted about 90% of the rockets coming from Hamas. The Iron Dome stay locked and loaded and ready to intercept. Behind me is a picture of one that is locked and loaded, ready to intercept. And this is a picture of one that truly is ready to intercept a rocket that is being fired out of the Gaza Strip by Hamas. We know 600 plus Hamas military targets have already been hit or destroyed. And what I learned yesterday, and we've seen it a little bit in the news, I've talked about how Israel, the IDF has been targeting what is called a metro. They are tunnels underneath the Gaza Strip, and it's really kind of like a city underneath a city. It has tunnels and tracks where they can move people and munitions about. We know in the past that Israel has discovered many of these tunnels that have come from the Gaza Strip underneath the kibbutz or the moshav that's close there within 10, 12, so many miles of the Gaza Strip, and that they have destroyed many of these tunnels before. So underneath Gaza is basically this whole city. It's tunnels moving people and munitions. And this is what Israel has been targeting over the past few days. Now, we're not getting that information really from our media. The media doesn't always tell the truth, and we've talked about that. The picture behind me, you can see the straight rockets that are coming out of the Gaza Strip, and the swirls are the interceptors from the Iron Dome. It's pretty amazing, the technology that has been allowed, I will say, by God to be discovered to really protect the people. Israel really tries to minimize civilian targets, and they warn the citizens before they strike these military targets. But what we see is Hamas basically does not care. Israel has what they call a roof knock. They fly drones over these apartment buildings or buildings that they're going to target to let the people know what is getting ready to happen, as well as making announcements. So they'll make an announcement maybe, an hour ahead of time, telling where the military target is, where the IDF is going to target. So the civilians have the opportunity to get out. The problem is Hamas. They don't really care. They are the ones who go in and they will set up let me find some pictures here if I can. They will go in and they will set up their military compound in buildings, maybe where Al Jazeera is headquartered or the AP media is headquartered, but they really do not care about life. They also will set up in homes, apartments, and they are setting up their military compound where civilians are, where schools are located, in the basements of hospitals. And so Israel really, they know where the targets are. And so they warn the people to try to minimize any casualties. But Hamas purposely looks for these compound centers in homes, apartment buildings, or like the building where the AP and Al Jazeera media were located. They look for things that they can use as a shield. Hospitals, schools, businesses, apartments. Hamas does not care about life, and they're counting on the fact that Israel will. Some people wonder why Israel is not taking out more of these rocket areas, and they know where these rockets are, but they know that they are in areas that will cause high civilian casualties. The IDF does its best to get good intelligence and not just attack without good reason the places they attack. They have good military intelligence and they are targeting command centers. They are not targeting the civilians. It is the Hamas that choose to put their command centers in homes, in businesses, in apartments. And so Israel is having to fight a different type of war, so to speak. One of the things that we see that this is a, what I will refer to as a psychological as well as a physical and spiritual warfare. The people who live right around the Gaza Strip, they're constantly being pounded. And this is going on, I think, the 8th day. They get the red alerts. They go to the bomb shelters. They stay there. They can hear what is going on. They finally get the okay to come out. They may have a few hours out and then it starts all over again. Hamas will target an area and they will basically what I call walk these targets, these rocket attacks around the cities, north, south, east, and west. And like Tel Aviv, they even targeted the center of the city. And then the people will get to come back out. How can you start your life normal again? And then the rocket attacks will begin again. Can you imagine how this is so traumatizing to the children and for the elderly people who maybe cannot move as quickly to get to a bomb shelter? I think one of the things that they're trying to do with this targeting the areas close to the Gaza Strip, because many of these kibbutz and these moshavs, some of them are only areas with people, maybe 100 and something population, 800, 1,200. And I think the reason they're targeting these areas as well as the schools is to really do a psychological warfare, to traumatize the children, to get the parents to finally say, you know what, enough is enough. Let's move to the Galilee, let's move to a different area, or possibly even go back to the nation from which they have come from, because there have been many Jews who have made Aliyah, who have gone to Israel to live a life in the land in Israel. And you know, there comes a point where you might say, this is too traumatizing for the children, so let's move. And I think that this might be what Hamas would like. They would like to expand the Gaza Strip further back to the east to get the people to move so they can move their line and take more land. This is a complex situation. There's not one really easy answer. And we can look in the Bible and we can see, I believe, that these are events that are happening to set us up for the Acharit HaYamim, the end of days. Nothing surprises God. Everything is under his control. We do need to pray for Israel and we need to pray for the Jewish people. This is my update on May 17th, 2021. And if I get another Zoom call and more information, I'll be glad to share it. Shalom, shalom.